John Steinbeck's book, Travels with Charlie, is a book that saved me from failing English for the second time. I read it as an extra credit assignment over the Christmas holiday so that I could pass English. My father could never understand how you could be born in London, England, and still fail English in high school, but found a way to do that once in a while. In part one of Travels with Charlie, John Steinbeck outlines the purpose of his journey. He states that his main objective is taking a cross trip across America to reconnect with its spirit and its people. After self-reflection, he reports, "I did not know my own country." Steinbeck felt that much of his knowledge was regional, only the major cities like New York, Chicago, and San Francisco. He wanted to earn the title of American author, not have it bestowed on him simply because he happened to live in the United States and was an American writer writing about America. His decision to take Charlie, his dog, was partially for his own benefit and partially for Charlie's. While Steinbeck wanted company on his journey, he also knew that Charlie would serve as a diplomat between himself and strangers, calling Charlie a mind-reading dog. Steinbeck notes that while people might feel apprehensive about talking to a person they have just met, they would feel perfectly comfortable petting a dog. Steinbeck uses Charlie to connect with strangers, allowing him to learn more about Americans who would not have spoken to him otherwise. After carefully packing Rocinante, his Jeep, with everything he thinks he might need on his journey, Steinbeck heads out with Charlie on a surprising and overwhelming adventure. So the first city that we will visit today will be Washington, D.C. The year is 1963. It's the 19th of May. There are 3 chapels being dedicated at the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception. And the person who raised most of the money for those chapels was not able to attend the ceremony because he was on his deathbed, Father Joseph Skelly. There were 3 major shrines being dedicated within the big shrine. That is 2 chapels. One to Our Lady of the Miraculous Medal, one to St. Vincent de Paul, and one to St. Louise. In the money of 1963, it all cost $750,000. The donation from the Congregation of the Mission and the Daughters of Charity of the United States and the Central Association of the Miraculous Medal. The man most responsible for this was dying in his bed. One of the things that's present in that chapel, you will see, is this. Titles of our name. In the Miraculous Medal Chapel, there's seating for 50 people. There is a 10-foot high representation of the Miraculous Medal. It is cast in 24-karat yellow and white gold leaf. Portrayed on the medal, St. Catherine Labouré as a novice, her guardian angel, we know there, and Catherine as a professed sister distributing miraculous medals. In the chapel of St. Vincent de Paul in Washington, D.C., Vincent is portrayed as hearing the confession of a dying peasant, which was a turning point in his life as a priest and convinced him to found the community of the Congregation of the Mission. He is noted as the universal patron of charity, and of course, under him in that chapel is the seal, "He has sent me to preach the good news to the poor." There is a picture of the old cathedral in St. Louis, where we know is the burial place of Bishop Joseph Rosati, C.M. It was in St. Louis, too, it's noted in the chapel, that the St. Vincent de Paul Society was founded on the 20th of November in 1845. There is a stained glass window dedicated to Felix de Andreas, who is identified as the father of the Vincentian community in America. In the St. Louise Chapel, Louise is portrayed as a young girl, and she is also portrayed as comforting a sick woman. Carved next to Louise on the statue is the patroness of Christian social workers and the seal of the Daughters of Charity, Caritas Christi Urget Nos. Portrayed here are the works of the Daughters of Charity: hospitals, foundling homes, work for the elderly and unwed mothers, and education. There is also a stained glass window of Mother Seton, the mother of the Vincentian community in America. There is also a picture of one of my favorite miraculous medal saints. I don't know if he's a saint, but stories. Every once in a while around here, I know downstairs in the small chapel where Our Lady is holding the globe, and there's also a painting here of Our Lady appearing to this man who was a Jewish merchant, hated Catholics. Because his brother became a Catholic, and to add insult to injury, his brother became a priest, Alphonse Ratisbonne. Somebody gave him a miraculous medal, and he laughed and he said, "You're joking. I don't believe in any of this. As a matter of fact, I don't like it at all." And the guy said, "Wear it, it can't hurt." So he goes on a trip and he puts the medal in his pocket. He says, "It'll have no effect on me anyway. If it doesn't harm me, it's fine." Goes on a trip, gets off the boat, walks into a church, says, "I want to become a Catholic." Then he too became a priest. Father Joseph Dervin, in his sermon at the Basilica in 1963, says this: "My good friends, let us not leave this glorious temple of Mary this afternoon without taking along the lessons taught by its chapels. Let us all remember God's wish, now cut into stone, that God gave Mary the power to show his signs and wonders." On the 8th of July in 1963, Father Skelly died 4 months before the assassination of President John Kennedy on November the 22nd, 1963. And now we're going to move through another part of America, something that a lot of people like to do. They like to build their vacations visiting baseball parks. To make it hassle-free for groups and individuals to attend sporting events of a lifetime, we offer our popular baseball road trip tours and spring training packages, Hall of Fame enshrinements at all major sporting events, and our flexible independent travel vacations that are customized to meet your schedule and budget. And of course, it's all at a very reasonable price. Let's just say you wanted to go to a St. Louis Cardinals game. Well, after the game, you could drive to Perryville, Missouri, the National Shrine of Our Lady of the Miraculous Medal. It precedes the founding of the state of Missouri by 2 years. It's one of the oldest Catholic churches still operating in the United States. English-speaking Catholics, descendants of Lord Baltimore, gave it the name the Barons. In 1918, 100 years after establishing St. Mary the Barons, the priests and brothers of the Congregation of the Mission established the Association of the Miraculous Medal in Perryville, Missouri. In October of 1837, the church is built on that site in Missouri. The church is modeled on the Church of Monte Satorio in Rome, and it's called St. Mary of the Barons. In 1928, anticipating the 100th anniversary of the 1830 apparitions in Paris, there is a shrine built there, and Father Felix de Andreas is buried there beneath the shrine floor. Let's say you wanted to go to a Milwaukee Brewers baseball game. You can visit the shrine of Our Lady Help of Christians in Hubertus, Wisconsin. Wisconsin claims the title of Mary, Our Lady of America, which emphasizes Mary's role in strengthening families. Let's just say you wanted to go to a Boston Red Sox game. Well, gee, you might as well visit the National Shrine of Our Lady of La Salette. Stop looking for excuses to miss Mass on Sunday, because apparently when Our Lady appeared at La Salette, her big thing was people are doing too much work on Sunday and they're finding too many reasons not to go to Mass. She appeared at that time in La Salette in the French Alps. She appears at that time weeping with a hammer and pincers, wearing a large crucifix around her neck. Make sure you go to Mass on Sunday and do less work. In Massachusetts, there is a shrine, too, of Our Lady of the Incarnation, who was brave enough. We honor Mary there for being brave enough to bring Christ into the world. Let's just say you wanted to go to the world champion Chicago Cubs. Well, stop over at the shrine of Our Lady of Pompeii, or better known as Our Lady of the Rosary. The Dominican and Franciscan emphasis on preaching missions is there. Now, one of the saints that's up here, it's a small rose window. There's a number of saints. Simon Stock, Saint Teresa, Saint Subaru, Louis de Montfort. But one of the other saints is there is Saint Dominic, because Our Lady gave him the rosary and spread devotion to the rosary. So he's up there, and he's also in our shrine. Pope Paul VI received an image of Our Lady of Pompeii at the Vatican in 1965. And he said this: just as the image of the Virgin has been repaired and decorated, so may the image of Mary that all Christians have within themselves be restored, renovated, and enriched. Pope Francis has said, what we need to do, motivated by Our Lady of Pompeii, is go out, dig deep, repair the church, as Francis and Dominic wanted to do. We must go to the far corners of the earth. St. Dominic said, one day through the rosary and the scapular, Our Lady will save the world. The state of Illinois is dedicated to Our Lady, Queen of the Universe, and Our Lady of the Snows, dedicated in Belleville, Illinois. Let's say you wanted to go to a San Francisco Giants game. You wanted to attend the game. You can also go, not too far away, to Santa Clara, California, at the Shrine of Our Lady of Peace, dedicated to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. That shrine is based on the Fatima Mandate to dedicate Russia to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Pope Pius XII dedicated a feast day to Mary, the Feast of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, which is usually the Saturday after the Friday of the Feast of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. It was instituted for the whole church, and we may obtain by her intercession peace among nations, freedom for the church, the conversion of sinners, love of purity, and the practice of virtue. California as a state is dedicated to Our Lady of the Wayside, with its old missions and old cathedrals, its Franciscan imprint and devotion to the Blessed Mother. My dear friends, we want to make America great again. We also want to make Catholics proud to be Americans, and Americans proud of their Catholic mother, the Church, again and again and again.